All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. This is episode 58. Oh well, my notebook's over there. But you know what? Let me just it might be 59. It's 58 or 59. We're gonna go with 58. All right, and it's another good one. Today did not disappoint. All right, so let me just do all that stuff I have to do. Okay. This is my FX Buddies, the podcast, and I say podcast because there's other mediums on whatever, you could find the information. But the best place to go is the blog. And the blog is at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. I know that's a lot to type in, so wherever you are taking in this information, look for a intro, info, description, more, something of that nature. Click that. Another box will open. It will have a link directly to the blog. The blog is free. You don't have to put your email in, nothing. No sign up for nothing. There's no ads. You just go there and all the articles are there. So today, what I did, I made a little audio, not of me. Remember I did one before. It's Notebook LM Notebook, something, some Google AI product that has two people talking, a man and a lady, and they do like a brief overview. So there's one of those for this really good article that explains what JP Morgan did yesterday, what that announcement was. And if you don't understand why it's a big deal, maybe by listening to that, you will get the gist of why that's major. And that is on the blog. But it's going to be at the bottom. Matter of fact, let me show you. Well, okay, so this is for the people who are watching. So the article is, no, that's not it. The title of the article is Private Banks Continue to Monopolize Foreign Remittances Without Providing Any Tangible Banking Services. So see this word here? Now this is the preview. So this is not a live link. But if you go here, it's going to be a live link that's going to take you to here. See, my FX Buddies. This is my Spotify account. I don't know if it's going to look like that when you go there, but whatever, because some people get worried when you're one place and you click on a link and it takes you to another place. And I think this blogger thing even asks you, are you sure you want to leave this page? Like, but anyway, so yeah, it's 6 minutes, but it brilliantly explains it. Okay, so that's that. Now, so there was lots of good news today, but I think this was the best news. So remember they had the largest Chamber of Commerce delegation came, right? So the Treasury Department will play a role in developing the Iraqi economy. And I'm like, but we already knew that. Why else would the U.S. Treasury have a whole floor of the Iraqi Central Bank building? Of course, we play a role. But see, that was kind of secret. They didn't really, there was one article, maybe one or two articles about that, and they don't talk about it anymore. But this announcement is going to go through the U.S. Embassy. So if there's people who watch that, and there are lots of people who watch the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So this article, this statement, is going to be seen by a lot more people than that other one. And I'm also thinking because they made this announcement, that moving forward, I believe that too. You know, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. All right. So the Vice President of U.S. Chamber of Commerce, Steve Lutes, and look, see right here, they call him Lotus. So I don't know what his name is, but it's something like that, right? Confirmed on Wednesday that the Treasury Department will play a role in developing the Iraqi economy. Meanwhile, the head of the Iraqi Economic Council stated that the country is much better off economically today than in previous years. So see, it's like the past is gone, the future awaits. That's a song you probably don't know because it's a Christian song. Anyway, our visit to Iraq is the largest visit by businessmen from various sectors from the US of A. Lotus said during a press conference attended by the news agency. Sudani is working to establish partnerships between Iraqi and American companies to develop Iraq's industrial and economic sectors. So yeah, so you should read that. Again, I think this is really cool. We cannot forget the role of the United States in liberating Iraq from dictatorship, and that the U.S. is the world's leading nation in various fields and is the one who has the credit for Iraq after its liberation. Now that could be good or bad. If we flub this up and Iraq crumbles and the economy crumbles, then, that's on us. Either way, right? When you're the quarterback or when you're the head person, the buck stops with you, right? So, but, we want them to succeed. We want this to work. So, yeah, so there's that. Let's see. Oh, I have to put this video here. There's a video of that meeting. Let's see. Shoot. I hate when I don't have everything just right. No, it's not here. But it's no words. Oh yeah, see, I say no words, just visual and music. But it's really neat. You can see the grandeur of the delegation, right? Grandeur, whatever. But it shows them sitting in their seats. It shows them talking, and they're just beaming. So they pass the microphone, and I guess they ask Sudani a question. And as they're talking to him, their faces are lit up. His face is lit up. And it's like, yeah, this is good. This is a good thing. So yeah, so that video will be here post-production, but give me, like 5 minutes after. Okay, now look at this. This I find really interesting. Kirkuk's $1 billion deal. Details of the purchase of 20 Tahoe Land Cruiser and Lexus vehicles. So the Kirkukians, I don't know what you call them, the Kirkuk Provincial Council chairman, their people, they're riding around in, well, I was going to say made in America. Are Land Cruisers made in America? I know they make some Lexus vehicles in America. I don't know about the Land Cruisers, but yeah, so they're riding around in predominantly American vehicles. And then it says they're bulletproof and some other stuff. So if you want to read this, I thought that was fascinating. I guess they got caught. People, because transparency and everything, but really they're not. They didn't get caught. It's all legitimate, all agreed. They have invoices and everything, and it says who the vehicles were distributed to, and yeah, so they'll be used for them to be driven around, right? And yeah, but woohoo, Tahoes, man. I used to want a Tahoe. Anyway, with the possibility of external financing, Iraq signs 2 memoranda of understanding with the United States on electricity and trade. So you can read about that. Part of this will be in that video that I'm going to post too. It's a very short video. And hey, YouTube, everything that I show is covered under the Fair Use Disclaimer Act because it's for sharing, commenting, critiquing, teaching, and it's covered under the Fair Use Disclaimer Act. All right. So this is al-Nusari. He confirms that the comprehensive banking reform project announced by the central bank will yield promising results. And who doesn't want promising results, right? Again, he talks about everything that's going on, the global consulting firms that are auditing, and then their concern. Well, here, let me see. Where's the beginning of this? I'm going to have to read this. Even though this is like one, you'd think there'd be 3 or 4 sentences, but I think it's one long sentence. But this is good. Nusari pointed out that among the important initial results achieved is the commencement of the completion of the actual implementation of the plans drawn up during 2025 and 2026 for comprehensive reform, which are summarized in enhancing financial inclusion and achieving stimulating and sustainable returns for shareholders and investors. Then I'm going to skip meeting the needs of the transition to a rapidly growing national economy, creating a fair, competitive environment in the banking market, and raising the level of private banks' ability to confront risks and protect depositors and creditors, thus restoring confidence. Yeah, good luck with that. And of course, they're up to international standards. So that's a good, and that's a short article for him, right? He usually writes really long articles with a higher than average vocabulary, but this one was good. Now, here, I think this is at that meeting because it's the U.S. Iraq business. Oh, no. This is, oh, it is. The 101 figures attended the workshop. So they had a workshop. So they showed that. Matter of fact, look, there it is. They're showing it again on the TV right now. But this is like one of the few articles I saw about it. So they're keeping it close to the chest, which I guess they should. But this guy, I think he's the one who ran it. So here is his name. Look it, okay? He has 3 names there. Up here he has 2 names. And we're going to call him Abu because that's the only name that I can pronounce. The next phase will witness unique opportunities in the fields of communications and digital transformation. So they go on and say America's #1. And that's why we brought them over here to help us. No, but he does. It says that Abu also pointed out the authorities' openness to reputable international companies, particularly American companies, given their expertise in economic development and the transfer of modern technology. So there's more if you'd like to read, but I'd like to stay 30 minutes and we're at 14. I'm not sure why they put this out, but it's Mohammed Saleh, so it must be important. Government advisor, the dollar exceeds 40% of Iraq's foreign currency reserves, which is why they have dollars there. So yeah, and look, it's only 4 sentences. So usually these little short articles like this, they tend to have a bigger meaning than their size. So they put that out. Here is now Saturday, we're supposed to have, well, there's supposed to be some talks, right? Remember? Oh, yeah, some people, I didn't make it clear. Okay, Saturday in Oman. I know that says Amman, like the city in Jordan, but it's not. It's in the country Oman. There's supposed to be talks, indirect or direct, is still an issue between, let me see, I'll just say Tehran and us. So something's going on because there's all these articles back and forth. This is happening. Well, we're going to threaten you. Well, you know, don't threaten us. But if you do, we're ready for you, right? All that back and forth. And then there was even urgent. Talks have been canceled. What do they say? To be continued is what they put, Then that whole page went away. It wasn't even a 404 error 404 or it seems the page you're looking for is no longer available. Would you like to visit our homepage? Right? You've seen that message? None of that. It was just gone. So that's a good sign, right? I guess. But there was so much that happened today, right? Poor Japan, the Nikkei was down 6%, then it was up 10%, just all around the world. So yeah, so you could read that. And it does explain there's tensions within Iraq. And remember, I was saying it seems like these newer politicians want to get away from, death to America or the great Satan, right? And they want to try to get along. And there it is. Tensions within Iraq. Reformists versus hardliners. So that's a pretty informative article if you want to read about stuff like that. So here, Sudani was talking to those people, the business people that came. And look at this. Their HD is so good. Even on my little crappy, whatever computer that is. This picture, it looks like he's really outside, really sitting in the grass in front of that building. But, so here you can see more of them. So they had 2 rows. You see that? They had to make 2 rows of chairs on both sides. So yeah, it's pretty big deal. Hopefully some good stuff comes from it. So if you want to read that article, and he does say good things. I mean, but he's been saying good things, right? Since he got in. They've all been saying good things. Now, this is the IBBC thing. And you know what? I may have talked about that last night. But this is up and coming. This will be in May, I think. And it's called How Iraq is Modernizing and Diversifying Its Growing Economy. And they tell you who's going to be there. You can, if you go to this link, it has a speaker lineup and the date and all of that stuff. It looks like June 2nd. But that could be, wrong too. So, all right, here's U.S. fears. So I just thought this was interesting for the perspective that it comes from. U.S. fears the popular mobilization law. It threatens Washington's interest and creates a new Revolutionary Guard. Now, who has the Revolutionary Guard? Yep, Iran. That's what they call their army. IRC, right? But these people will be in Iraq. They'll be out of, working out of Iraq, probably paid by Iraq. So yeah, you could read that, and this is long, but it explains the history, what we want, what they want, how it puts Sudani in a difficult position. Yeah. All right, let's see. So here's another article. I try to put the Iranian articles together, but I was kind of in a hurry today. There was a lot again, and I wanted to try to get it out. So see, he, rejects terrorism and calls for peace. And I didn't mean to say that word, but I did anyway. Indirect talks with Washington. So we will continue on the path without problems and will resolve all issues through constructive dialogue, which means no threats, no games, just dialogue, right? So we'll see. I really hope they happen on Saturday. But we'll see. All right, here's my one ad. Buy me a coffee if you'd like. I appreciate support. That's a link to the place, and there's the QR code. All right. Oh, look, I put the article twice. I'll try to change that, but whatever. So here's the people signing the memorandum of understanding about the electricity and trade. Oh, I may have put that there twice too. But it has some of the company names, not all. Oh, I sure did. Look, I put that there twice too. Good. Okay. So we might be shorter than I thought. Okay, this government advisor cooperation between fiscal and monetary policies ensures sustainable economic stability. So when I read this kind of makes me think they're saying, okay, we have the monetary policy done now. Yes, we have a little bit of problem. Oil was $70, now it's down to 58, and the 3-year budget and all of that. But it's like, okay, either we're going to have a deficit or we're not, but we'll move forward. So now that we got the monetary policy done, we can move with the financial policy, which I think, fiscal, because in other articles it does say financial, which I think means the money and the rate. I don't have any proof. Just from reading the articles, that's what it seems like. Because there's definitely two different Sorry about that. There's definitely two different reform conversations. So they have to be different things, right? And I just love that picture. All right. Let's see. Here is more about the American and Iraqi commerce. But this is Fawad Hussein. Again, he's going to speak. He spoke about it. And he gets looked at through the eyes of the Arab community altogether. He's been in politics, I think, 45 years. He's been in the government almost as long as Mohammed Saleh has been. And even, you may have heard me say this before, when Kazemi was prime minister, he was only supposed to be there a year, and anyone that was in his government was not supposed to be in the next government. Well, look who's still the foreign minister. Fawad Hussein's been the foreign minister for I don't know how long. So he was with Kazemi, he was with the person before, he's there with Sudani, he'll be with the next person, unless he retires. But I really think they have him there because they want him to usher in the new rate and the new money. I mean, I've listened to him when he comes here and he talks to that Institute of Peace, which I think they may have gotten shut down. And there's another place, the Atlantic Council. But not only that, when he goes to Europe, he speaks there. And it's boring as it is. I always watch him. All right. Okay. Oh, here. This is perfect. Look, you can see there's all 101 people. And then there's the press back over there. And yeah. All right. So, let's see. This just says, despite the T word, U.S. U.S. brings largest trade delegation to Iraq. Is this the one that's in bullet points? Yes. Okay. So see all these bullet points here? This is a little easier to read. So here's key highlights from the Prime Minister's remarks. So this will be further up because I am going to go delete those double articles that I have. So it'll be further up. All right. And this is one person, well, I'm sure there's other people who feel this way too, but I just wanted to put this here. I doubt very seriously that the economy is about to collapse, but it could, right? If we keep dragging this out, if the security and stability gets broken, there's all kinds of little things that could happen, right? But I don't think they will. So this is the Iraqi banking system is on the verge of collapse. Banks monopolize remittances, with however you say that, bank being an example. So this is also a prelude to that other article that I put at the bottom that's going to have the two people talking that will explain. So foreign banks are there in Iraq. They have the right to get the dollars and move them through the merchant system, through that transfer system. But there's other things that come with that. There are other revenue streams that come from that. So the Iraqi banks are complaining, saying, hey, you're cutting us out of this. Plus, that's also probably why the citizens don't have faith in the banks, because they're like, look, America likes these other banks better, the Jordan banks and whatever that one is, the Gulf banks. We should use them too, right? So with JP Morgan, and it touches on it here, but it calls it GB Morgan. So with JP Morgan coming in and saying, okay, we're going to open more accounts so the Iraqi banks can now do the same functions as the Jordan bank, as this bank with the weird name. So there won't be competition, right? So yeah. So there's that. Then here's another article about negotiations with that country there and us. And this is from their news, not our news. It's from the other country's news. So just a different perspective, as the primary concern for the continuation of religious authority, Khomeini can maneuver positions with a great deal of flexibility and pragmatism. Yeah, that's something I'm not, so I can't say that word. Pragmatism. I am not pragmatic. And so here's a summary. So this paragraph right here is a summary, and then there's the full article if you'd like to read that. All right, yeah, so we're done. So then so right now that's not a live link, but that will be a live link that will explain this article, which again is about how the other banks are in Iraq and they've been given permission to transfer the dollar and help the merchants transfer money for goods and services, right? But if you don't understand and you want to understand, yeah, go to the blog. It's all the way down at the bottom and click on that. And it's just over 6 minutes. All right. And you can share it. That's another thing you can share. I'm not really sure how to use Spotify, and I wish they had a function where I could have just embedded it here, but they don't. Or if they do, I couldn't find it. maybe if I had a paid account, maybe if I had a paid subscription, maybe that is an option, but I just use their free service. Anyway, all right, so that's 2 good days in a row. Let's see what happens tomorrow. The only thing we need to hear, well, rate change, but that's not happening anytime soon. So I guess we have to look to Saturday to see if they have the talks, right? But I'll be looking, and if there's anything post-worthy tomorrow, I will post. Yeah. So thank you for watching. If there's a like, subscribe, join, follow, um, like, join, follow, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Click that, activate that, whatever. Because if technology works as it's supposed to, when I update, you'll be notified that I did an update. And accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. If anyone has a good video that teaches one how to do shorts, YouTube shorts, could you send it to me? I would like to do them, but okay, with my technical skills, right? That's the number one challenge. But then number two, there's videos out there, but they're not showing me, like, I need step by step how to do the shorts. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thanks for all the good, thought-provoking comments that you guys leave. And enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are enjoying this content. And until next time.